Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our Charlotte race weekend continues on here as we get set for our 11th race of the season of the NNSCRA Pizza Hut X Series Season 3. Beginning this series chase towards the chase for the championship, and where there's a little bit more breathing room than where there is in the Taxslayer Truck Series, where there's only 8 spots up for grabs. In that chase, there are 12 spots up for grabs in this chase for the championship. But keep in mind, with only 12 spots available and us having already run 10 races with 10 different race winners, there's really only 2 spots that are up for grabs still for points-wise, and I think I can guarantee you we're going to have at least 2 more different race winners here before we reach the end of the regular season. So, you know, not quite yet to crunch time for this series, but some drivers might want to use Charlotte here tonight to be able to avoid the situation of being in a must-win situation when that crunch time does roll around. 30 laps of racing here tonight at Charlotte. Should be an interesting one, and I think tonight, as opposed to our Truck Series race last night, I don't think fuel's going to be an issue. GNS Physics able to go a little bit longer than CTS Physics, and we saw that a lot of drivers ran out of fuel with about 2 to go, 1 to go, so I don't think we'll see that here tonight, but then again, you never know. This game always seems to surprise me. A Lagasee, the rookie, going to line up on the front row alongside of a fellow rookie in M Crenshaw. Lagasee still looking for his first win of the season. Crenshaw, on the other hand, is trying to become the first repeat winner this season after winning the season opener at Daytona. Lots of drivers through the field trying to look for their first win of the season. Other drivers looking for their second win of the year. And for Austin LaPlante, I think he's just trying to continue to grow his points lead. He's rolling off from another good starting position here tonight as he's going to start in the 6th position in that Lilly Diabetes Ford Mustang. He's got right now over a 50-point lead over second in the standings. We'll get to that in just a moment. We're going to be getting the command to fire him up in just a moment as well, but this will be an interesting one. It also will be interesting to see if that turn 4 will be a trouble spot now with GNS Physics as opposed to CTS Physics. But we'll find out in just a moment. Let's go down and get the command.
Drivers, start your engines! Is that okay?
That was perfect. Right on the money. Well done, Grand Marshal, as we will get these cars rolling off behind the Pizza Hut X Series official Chevy Corvette pace car. And we now give you your top 10 the point standings coming into tonight's race, presented by Golden Corral. Austin LaPlante holds a 56-point lead right now over former champion Benny Watson. PJ Williams is 3rd in the standings, 4th Elijah Gilbert, with Angel Navarro in 5th. James Qualls currently 6th, Matt McIntyre 7th. Jacob Rose, our winner last time out at Richmond, is 8th. 9th is Jordan Anderson, with Matthew Daleo completing the top 10. Out of those 10 drivers, 5 of them former race winners this season: LaPlante, Williams, Navarro, Rose, and Anderson. They would be currently in the top 5 spots as if the playoffs were to start right now. The rest of the drivers that currently would join them would be J Jefferson, Chelsea Bowles, Noah Pontzer, Glenn Dewitt, Madeline Crenshaw, who is just barely in the 30th position in the point stand, so her win would still count towards a chase spot. And then the final 2 spots would go to the drivers' top 2 highest in the point stands, which are the 2 former champions of this series, Benny Watson and Elijah Gilbert. 30 laps of racing. We have our stages, 10, 10, and 10. As we get ready to begin the second half of the regular season, the chase towards the chase for the Pizza Hut X Series Championship is underway. Let's roll. Last night we saw a first-time winner in the Taxslayer Truck Series in Isaac Nichols. Will we see a first-time winner here tonight in the Pizza Hut X Series? We'll have to wait and find out. 30 laps of action await us, and the battle for the lead may be on already. Lagasee had it. Patrick Curtis with a big run down the back straightaway. Will he get to the inside? He's looking. He's there. Lagasee tried to come down in front and block. Couldn't do it. And the first lap is, they say, led by Patrick Curtis. So Curtis leads the first lap of this race. Right behind him is Aiden Shepard in the 17. And you can see them 3 wide back there. That was about mid-pack. It'll be interesting to see if these drivers have an issue with going 3 wide off turn 4 like the drivers have had issues in the Taxslayer Truck Series last night, as well as the Hershey's Cup Series during All-Star Race weekend this past week. Look at all those rookie stripes up there. The 0's got rookie stripes, the 90, the 3, the 17 should actually have rookie stripes, and he doesn't, but got to get back to Christian Merrick Jr. there in the 92 before you get to the first metric. Christian Merrick Jr., Cole Deaver, and Benny Watson. Trouble! One car hard into the wall. That's the 19 of Michael Haas, and I think everyone avoided him, but the caution will fly for the first time tonight on lap number 3, going on to lap number 4. I think it was a single car incident with the 19 of Michael Haas, but how did we get away with it not being a multi-car wreck? There was another car that got up into the wall, but I couldn't tell who it was, but they kept their car going. So as Patrick Curtis waits on the pace car to catch up, and hopefully it happens before they get to the start-finish line, otherwise Patrick Curtis would get penalized for passing the pace car. There we go. Now he's able to get in line. So let's see what happened. There you see the long skid mark trail left by the 19, but I'm almost certain that he was the only car that really got any significant damage. I think everybody was able to avoid him, which on this front straightaway of all places is an absolute miracle. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened to Michael Haas to bring out the first caution of the evening here at Charlotte. And I think our question has been answered. I think turn 4, just as much of an issue for the Pizza Hut X Series drivers here tonight as it has been for all the drivers so far in the past 2 weeks. Michael Haas up there on the top side coming out of turn 4. He's going to get the wall. That was actually Glenn Dewitt there in the 6 that he got involved with. Dewitt went up and slapped the wall pretty hard. Maybe some damage for the 4 of Ryan George. I'm not certain. Look at this. They were 3 wide coming off turn 4, a couple rows deep, and somehow were all able to get by, still 3 wide. So they were technically 4 wide on the front straightaway there, if you count the 19 up against the wall. That is crazy. And fortunately, you got that little rundown apron there just at the start-finish line where you can see it says Charlotte, and a couple of drivers that were on the inside line of those 3 wide formations were able to go down there, and that was, I think, what allowed there to be enough room for everybody to, be able to avoid the 19. And fortunately as well, the 19 spun around and was facing the wrong direction, but he was kind of parallel with the cars going by. If that car were facing down into traffic at a little bit more of a 45-degree angle, we probably would have had that 19 get clobbered by somebody and probably had a big wreck that probably would have stretched all the way over into turn number 1. But fortunately, we got away with one here tonight. Single car spin for Michael Haas, some possible right side damage for Glenn Dewitt, and we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Green flag will come back out on lap 8 of 30. All 42 cars that came around and took the green flag to start this race will be coming around to take the green flag to continue this race. Michael Haas was the only driver that came to pit road under that yellow, which kind of surprises me. I would have thought that Glenn Dewitt would have also come to pit road, but you can see he's actually got some pretty good starting track positions still. Going to be restarting in the 12th position, so don't know how significant the hit was into the outside wall for him, if that right side damage is going to slow him up or not. We'll keep tabs on that. But Michael Haas was the only car that came to pit road. They repaired the damage on his car and have him back out there. So as Patrick Curtis gets ready to get us back underway, Aiden Shepard lines up behind him in second with A Lagasee, M Crenshaw, and Christian Merrick Jr. your top 5. And it's Cole Deaver, Benny Watson, A Navarro in 8th, Austin LaPlante 9th, and D Shears will complete your top 10 as the green flag will come back out here on lap number 8. Curtis, good start. Opened a little bit of distance between himself and the Fastenal Ford Mustang, about a car length, maybe a car length and a half going into turn 1. The benefit of being the control car. The cars behind you don't know when you're going. M Crenshaw going to take 3rd place from A Lagasee. Christian Merrick Jr. following in tow. Then Benny Watson there with Austin LaPlante, both trying to work their way back up here to the front. You got Cole Deaver there in the 15. I've been kind of waiting to see when we were going to see something out of the 15 of Cole Deaver, because don't forget, Cole Deaver was a championship competitor last season at Auto Club. He's 14th in the point standing, so he's been very consistent this year, but you know, I've kind of been wondering when we were going to start to see some muscle out of that Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. It looks like as this second half of the season begins, he's feeling this is the time. We almost went 3 wide. We might go 3 wide here for 1 and 2. A Lagasee went way down to the bottom, almost to the apron to try to get to the inside of Christian Merrick Jr., who was trying to make the pass for third on Madeline Crenshaw. We settle it out, we continue on, but they are 3 wide further back. That is Benny Watson in the 24. He got the wall, but I think they all gave him enough room, and he's going to start to fade back. Now, when you get into that wall there off turn 4, you don't really get damage that slows you up. What slows you up is the fact the wall, when you hit it, it almost kind of grabs you and sucks you in like a magnet. It's so hard to get off of it, and you lose so much momentum off the corner. That's why we see drivers that hit that wall fade back. And you can see we had Benny Watson up here around the 7th, 8th, 9th position, and now he's kind of almost faded back from view. There you can see just barely him at the tail end of this lead pack. Patrick Curtis showing him how it's done right now there in that 0 car. Patrick coming into tonight's race is 32nd in the point standings. He had a good run at Richmond our last time out, jumped up 6 spots in the standings. Let me see where he finished at Richmond. He was 5th at Richmond. So that team is definitely turning their season around in terms of finishes, no doubt about that. And, well, we got a car up here. That is Matt McIntyre in the 9. Liberty University Chevrolet slowing off the paces. They're going to split him 3 wide. That was a little close, especially going into the entrance of a corner. They get through that? Well, some of them did. Noah Carr's working his way by now, and I think that 9 car might be off the pace or something, because they are really bypassing him quite a bit, and I don't know why he's off the pace. It might be some mechanical problem. We've seen engine problems last night in the Taxler Truck Series race. And look at this, getting caught on that high side. Navarro, Gilbert, Douthitt, Shears. They're losing valuable positions as they're stuck behind that 9 car. And woo! Navarro going to go to the inside. I'm not so certain he didn't get forced down there. Might have gotten hooked by the 55 of Gilbert. Looks like they're all going to get by the 9, but that 9 could be a menace in a couple of upcoming laps again. If he is as off the pace as it appears he is. Might be safer if they actually call that 9 car to pit road. But going back to Patrick Curtis, we had a first-time winner of a driver struggling in the point standings last night in Isaac Nichols. He was 41st in the point standings out of 42 drivers coming into that race. Patrick Curtis, we mentioned, 36th in points, so it would almost kind of be a case of deja vu if he's able to close the deal here tonight. But look who's moved into second place, Jordan Anderson in the 11. Former winner this season, top 10 in the points coming into this race, and trying to become the first multiple win driver here tonight, here this season, which could very well already this early on lock him up a spot in the chase for the championship, and he's going to get to the inside of Patrick Curtis for the race lead. Ryan George right there as well in the 4 car. There's the traffic up ahead. They were just exiting turn 4 as the leaders run halfway down the back straightaway, so little less than half a racetrack before these leaders will encounter more traffic, although I'm almost certain they're going to probably catch the 9 of Matt McIntyre before they get to those cars there at the tail end of the field, like Daniel Olson and company. But Anderson now to the lead. Second place is going to be Ryan George as Patrick Curtis finds himself looking out his windshield and seeing cars in front of him for the first time tonight. Christian Merrick Jr., Aiden Shepard, A Lagasee, Cole Deaver all up here in this lead pack. Then you go back to the 77 of Kyle Langeland in 8th, which actually he just lost that spot to Noah Cars, and they are about 1.8 seconds back behind this lead pack of race cars. The field obviously getting split up due to the slower machine of Matt McIntyre and would need a caution to bunch them all back up. Patrick Curtis trying to fight his way back up to the front, and yep, there's that 9 car, and he's actually held up Daniel Olson, so they're going to have to contend with 2 race cars now, the 32 and the 9, and Curtis going to get pinned down there on the inside line. As was Aiden Shepard, and I believe, was that Cole Deaver the guy held up there as well? It was. So now it's Anderson, George, and I believe Merrick and Lagasee. Yeah, those are the only 4 that right now are now up in the lead pack. Aiden Shepard quite a ways back there in 5th. He still has to get around the lap car of Daniel Olson. Battle on for 3rd between Lagasee and Christian Merrick Jr. Jordan Anderson, if I remember correctly, he dominated at another 1.5 mile racetrack, and I want to say it was Atlanta. I have to double check. Yes, it was Atlanta. So he definitely, that team has a very good 1.5 mile program, and he showed it off here when he was able to get up to the back of Patrick Curtis and make the move for the race lead. Nobody else had really been able to do that after Curtis had been able to take the top position back at the beginning of this race. So Anderson, a lot of muscle flexed right there, but Ryan George keeping him within striking distance, and we've already seen here that the field's gotten very split up due to slower traffic. That 9 car of Matt McIntyre might be encountered once, if not maybe twice more in this race with how slow he is running, as we've got about 7.5 laps to go, so that 9 could still play a factor into the outcome of this race. Ryan George coming into this race is 27th in the point standings. We already mentioned Jordan Anderson, top 10 in points in 9th, so who do you think wants this win more? For Ryan George, it would put him into the conversation of maybe being in the playoffs. For Jordan Anderson, it would put him in the conversation of more than likely being the first confirmed driver in the chase for the championship this season. Next car is going to be Joshua Osborne in the 70. Boy, things have really... Oh, whoa! Is the caution out? It is! Saw some smoke there off of 4, and the yellow flag is out with 6 laps to go. So that is the caution that a lot of drivers were looking for. And in that list of drivers that were looking for a caution, I don't think you'll find Jordan Anderson's name. He was loving what was going on right there. Ryan George was not able to close up the gap, and now there's a lot of hungry wolves at the door of the Leaf Filter Chevrolet. And I'm pretty certain we will get back green, if not for a green-white checkered, more than likely for a 1-lap shootout. So this will be a doozy of a restart, but we're going to have to see now what brought out the yellow flag for the second time tonight to set us up for what could be a very exciting finish here at Charlotte. Second time tonight, Benny Watson was on the outside of a 3-wide situation off of 4, and this time it leads to a wreck as he and Ralph Mason make contact. This was right in front of points leader Austin LaPlante. Now both cars are able to keep going, but the reason the yellow flag came out, the 99, was sideways, and so therefore NSRA officials having to throw the caution with the fact there was oncoming traffic behind those 2. Tough break there for second in the point standings, Benny Watson. Ralph Mason as well, tough break for him. Both those drivers, former teammates from last season when they both drove for Backmarker Motorsports, and pretty significant damage on the right side, also the left side of the Chick-fil-A Chevrolet. Ralph Mason also with some pretty big damage. And that was the caution Jordan Anderson did not want to see. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to hang on to this race win as we go back now for the restart. Green, white, checkered will be the name of the game here, as it'll be 2 laps to go when we get the green flag to finish out this one. Remember when we had that wreck, the first caution, with Glenn Dewitt and Michael Haas? Well, Michael Haas was the only one that came to pit road. Glenn Dewitt stayed out. Well, kind of deja vu. Benny Watson and Ralph Mason crossed the line in 17th and 18th position. Neither one came to pit road under that caution, so apparently the track position more important to them than coming to pit road and trying to make sure that they're up to full speed. So We'll see if that strategy works out for them, both trying to at least, I guess, finish with a top 20 with damaged goods. 40 of our 42 cars are still on the lead lap. Chris Dalton, the last car on the lead lap, in 40th place. Daniel Olson is a lap down, 2 laps down is the idling car of Matt McIntyre. So this could be a very interesting restart. If we have a wreck, then a lot of drivers could pick up some very valuable positions. We've got to at least get to the white flag. If we get to turn 4, have a wreck with the white flag displayed, the leaders will have had to have crossed the start-finish line before the caution comes out for the race to still end, coming back to the checkers at full speed. So here we go, green, white, checkered. Green flag is out. Ryan George tried to time it. He tried to time it. He might have spun the tires, and Jordan Anderson's going to get away. Get Christian Merrick Jr. there in the 92. He's gotten by A Lagasee for third. He's now looking to get second from Ryan George, and he's got friends helping him. Aiden Shepard down there along with Kyle Langeland. This time by, white flag will be displayed for Jordan Anderson, who has about a 3.5, 4 car length lead over Ryan George. White is out. We will race back to the checkers. Jordan Anderson is a rookie this season for Kaulig Racing, and he might very well be en route to being the first driver to lock up officially a spot in this season's Pizza Hut X Series chase for the championship. Still 3 car lengths through 3 and 4. Jordan Anderson will pick up his second career win at 1.5 miles. He'll take the checkered flag here tonight at Charlotte. Who would have thought the first driver to lock themselves up a spot in the chase for the championship for the second tier NNSCRA series would be a rookie? And I believe that is, yes, the third win of Kaulig Racing's career here in the Pizza Hut X Series. They had their first win last season with Stuart Gratton at Bristol Dirt, and then Atlanta and Charlotte here this season with Jordan Anderson behind the wheel are their second and third wins in the series. Man, how about that? Well, I can't say for absolute certainty that Jordan Anderson can now kick back and relax, because obviously there's still a long ways to go here in this season, but this certainly is going to help them breathe a little bit easier heading into the upcoming races. He will win tonight, his second win of the season. Ryan George will finish in second. He was able to hold off Christian Merrick Jr., so great run for him. That, I think, is his best finish of the season so far in second. Christian Merrick Jr. will finish in third with Aiden Shepard and A Lagasee in fourth and fifth. Look at the rookies there with Kyle Langeland in sixth. 5 rookies in the top 6 this evening. So the night belonged to the rookies, apparently. Then in seventh was Cole Deaver, Madeline Crenshaw in eighth. That's a well-needed run for Crenshaw. She's been dropping like a rock through the point standings, and of course came into this race 30th in the standings. This will help get her away from that cutoff line. Phil Parker, great run for him in ninth, and Patrick Curtis was able to battle back for a 10th place finish. Looking down through the remainder of the finishing results, some of the drivers that came in running well in the points. Elijah Gilbert, 4th in the standings, going to finish in 13th, the defending champ. Austin LaPlante came in as the points leader. He will definitely leave as the points leader, with 16th being his finishing results. And Benny Watson, we talked about, he stayed out. Had that damage, stayed out, tried to salvage what he could, finished 18th. So with damaged goods, pretty good run there for him. And he only finished 2 spots behind Austin LaPlante, and I don't think either one of them got stage points tonight. I'm not certain. Watson might have gotten a stage point or 2. So at least Watson keeping LaPlante within striking distance heading into next week. To go down through the remainder of the finishing results, last time out's winner Jacob Rose, 23rd place. PJ Williams in 25th. And then you got to go down here, and that's where you get to drivers that really did not have the runs they were looking for tonight. Angel Navarro there in 30th. James Qualls in 34th. And, of course, we already documented the fact of Daniel Olson and Matt McIntyre both finishing off the lead lap. Noah Pontzer finishing out of the race with an ignition problem in 42nd. And I think that was actually during that last green-white checkered segment, because he was still running when we got back and took the green flag for the restart. So that is a tough break for Noah Pontzer, former winner this season at Rio de Janeiro, and a driver that came into this race 16th in the point standings. So this will definitely drop him like a rock through the point standings after this one. But that is going to do it here tonight from Charlotte. Jordan Anderson becomes the first repeat winner this season and may have just locked himself up officially a spot in the playoffs for the Pizza Hut X Series this season. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finish results. These are your rookie points and your overall points heading into the next race for the Pizza Hut X Series, which will not be next week. Tomorrow night, we cap Charlotte race weekend off with the run of the Coca-Cola 600, and then next week, it's Throwback Week at Darlington. We will have Truck Series and Hershey's Cup Series action, but the Pizza Hut X Series drivers, they'll be taking an off week. We won't see them for 2 weeks when we will be having their 12th race of the season at Phoenix International Raceway. So these drivers going to get to take a little bit of a vacation, spend some time with their families, and then we'll see them in the desert. But till then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching a production of NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for the Coca-Cola 600.